Gymnastics parents, if your gymnast struggles to think positively, whether that shows up as self-doubt to get new skills, like she just doesn't believe in herself to be able to do it, self-doubt to put herself out there for her dream schools, self-doubt when she's trying to hit in competition. If she's struggling to think positively, this episode is for you. Hi, I'm Coach Stacie, and I'm here with Coach Allie.
Hi, everybody.
And we are the co-founders of Gymnastics Mindset Academy. And we have been talking this month about a lot of our foundational tools. And this one is one of my favorites because I think it's pretty unique into how we teach and what we do. And it's one of the most powerful. And so let's get into it. Positive thinking is what every gymnast tries to do all the time. It's like toxic positivity, right? Gymnasts are kind of in I can't ever even have a negative thought cross my mind, or it's terrible, it's a problem. And they try to push every negative thought that comes across their brain down. And one of the reasons that's a problem is because by nature, our job is to be our primitive brain's job is to be looking for all the things that could go wrong. And so those things are negative. And then our brain is they say that 85% of our thoughts are repetitive. And no, I don't remember. A big percentage of our thoughts are repetitive. And 85% of those are negative. It's just what is. It just is our brains. It just is the reality. And gymnasts always kind of freak out when they have that. But so they try to really push those negative thoughts down and force positive thoughts. And I always like to tell them it's a little bit like just trying to jump up on the high beam and do a back handspring when you've never even learned it on the floor yet. And that's what they try to do with their brain. So we're going to talk today about a process that we use to get from those negative to those positive. But I want to get in deeper into why this is such a big deal. Why do positive thoughts matter? And so if you saw our previous episodes, we talked about kind of the think, feel, do. When you think something, it causes you to feel a certain way. And when you feel that, you then take specific actions based and fueled from that feeling. And so then that gets you a result. So it's not magical. It's not just I don't know. I used to hear about the power of positivity and did you ever think that, Allie? That people just, meant that it was just magical?
Did. And I thought that there was something wrong with me that that wasn't the case too. It almost made me feel okay, why can these people just be positive and then it works and it's magical and I can't?
Yeah.
I feel that idea is what makes, and you explained why, but in the moment as a kid, I'm you just felt there was something wrong with you because you couldn't do it, because that wasn't what your brain did. And you thought it was normal for everybody to be positive, not negative. And so then you're stuck in this trap of not only am I thinking negative, but that is wrong and bad and nobody else does. So now there's this layer of something wrong with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I just always heard about thinking positive and just kind of thought they meant that somehow that just magically I'm thinking this, the sky right now is kind of gray out and I'm thinking it should be blue. And so then that should make it blue. And that just didn't make any sense to me. But when I started to understand the think, feel, do model and go that makes sense of then how I create that reality.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that our thoughts are also pretty automatic. There are things that most of them are subconscious, but even the ones that are conscious just usually kind of come automatically. And so where do they come from? They come really from our identity and our beliefs. That's the deeper layer. If you thought of it as a pyramid, our results are up at the top, but at the bottom of that pyramid is our identity and our beliefs. And changing identity level beliefs, changing beliefs is really difficult because they're so subconscious. We're so unaware of them. Right? It's kind of the bottom of the iceberg. It's just, we don't see them at all, but they are kind of what the rest of it springs out of. And so when you think about it, I don't know. I was telling Allie, I was working with the girls last night, and on Sundays are all of our group calls. So we go back to back to back to back, and we have mental blocks, and then we have our performance program girls, and we have recruiting. And so it's a wide variety of topics that we're covering. But I was just thinking at the depth of the level that these athletes have to go to in dealing with their inner world in a way that most adults will never even have to do. Like for recruiting, the depth of the level that your identity work is there is so deep. For mental blocks, like you're having to go in every single day into gym and literally feel, most of my kids say when they get into it and they really are able to tap into how they're feeling, they feel terrified. They go in and spend 30 plus minutes every single day they go into the gym feeling terrified. Could you imagine if you go into work and like 30 minutes of every work day is like, I have to feel utterly
Not
terrified?
even that, like, just, like, willingly it reminds me of, like, oh my gosh, what was that show where they, like, made you do a bunch of scary stuff? I don't know, I'm having, like, flashbacks
Fear
of trauma.
factor.
Fear Factory, yes! Okay, that is somebody who is willingly going to pick the thing that they're most afraid of and throw themselves into it for, like, a minute. Like, literally, usually it's, like, the quickest thing ever. If you ask me to even look at a tarantula for 1 minute every single day, there's no way. There's no way I would willingly do that. So, like, we have these girls that are like, "You know what I'm terrified of? This flight series. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to the gym every single day and be terrified." Like, that's horrible. If you knew a tarantula was there, you would not be going. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just
Like
insane.
the level of mental work that they have to do to get through that, get past that, but
Mhm.
even just to do it is significant. And then when it comes to, and even that, one of my newest girls, last night I coached her and yesterday afternoon I coached her and we were talking about just like you're gonna have to feel afraid and go anyways, but the idea isn't to like white knuckle it and make yourself to go. The idea is to learn how to feel afraid and not let it be a big deal. And so she was like, I did it. She like messaged me in our app, like, I did it. Like I felt afraid and I went anyways. I can't believe it. She was just so excited. But again, like most of us will never be like, I did it. I touched that tarantula. I did it.
I get the heebie-jeebies.
I can't even talk about it too long. She'll forget. So, like the level of I the le- but when it comes to recruiting, like the level of identity work that you have to do. I mean, like I was interested, so I was looking up, and the stat that I read was 4 to 6 people, 4 to 6% of high school students will like get recruited, will get accepted to an Ivy League school. Like less than 2% of athletes, less than 2% of high school students will go on to get a college athletic scholarship. And gymnastics is one of like the smallest amounts of college scholarships there are. And so just like this is harder than getting into Ivy League schools. Like this is some of the hardest things that they'll ever do, and it requires them to put themselves out there. Allie, what's that stat that you said? Like 3% of
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a little hazy.
I mean stats,
Percentages. But
they're
in
hard.
general, it was like 40-ish percent of level 10 seniors will do college gymnastics. And a lot of times I feel like people think like, oh, if I get to level 10, then I'll get to do college gymnastics. But it's less than half of level 10s are going to do college gymnastics. And then on top of that, it's only the top 3 to 5% of the level 10s that are being actively recruited by coaches. And what I mean, like, they're reaching out to them and like trying to call them and trying to do things without the gymnast having to do any outside work of reaching out, like without them having to like post and email and like do all of the work to show who they are and what they're interested in, like just being reached out to because they're talented enough. And so that is I mean, think of how many gymnasts even make it to level 10. I don't know that number, but it's
It's
not.
less than 2% of all gymnasts.
Yeah, and then for only half, less than half of them to even go to college, and then even from there, only the top 3% are really being actively recruited just based on scores. Like, where are the rest? Like, that's 35% of girls that need to be promoting themselves and sending emails, and I mean, honestly, as I knew this coming in, I've had, like, a background of I tried to get recruited. I had a lot of self-doubt. I had to go through the process of recruiting girls and like seeing a good score on an event and me being like, I like would love to have this girl. Like, I want to see what stuff she has, see if she'd be a good fit for our team. And then me not being able to find any videos on her because most of the time it's because they don't think they're good enough. So then they don't post the videos and then I can't find them. And now I'm on this side and I'm helping girls with the recruiting process. And like the number one thing they say is like, I haven't been posting or sending videos is because it's either one, I don't think I'm good enough yet. And so I have to wait until I think I'm good enough, which is like never because it's a deep belief. And then two, it's they're worried that if they send something that isn't good enough, then that coach is going to basically spam them and then like they'll never get looked at again. Like one bad email would make it so that coach would never ever look at them again. And so like and in quotes bad.
You
Like
said spam them. I thought you meant like spam, like send them a whole bunch of stuff. You
no,
meant
no,
like
I meant the other
put
way,
them
like,
in
put
the
them in
spam
spam so that
box.
they didn't, like, get their emails, like,
Yeah.
mark them as spam so that they don't see them. Like, they're worried that, like, if they send an email and they aren't good enough yet, then they're just gonna get rejected for life, and then that school is never an opportunity ever again. And so, like, both of those things, I mean, the fear is just like the mental block fear. It's just coming from a place of being afraid of being rejected, than the skill, and you guys, we've done a lot of conversation on that. So if you're curious about that, listen to our very first episodes. But it's coming from that fear or just like this deep rooted belief that they're not good enough to go to the college that they want to go to or to do college gymnastics in general. And those things are like shutting them down from getting recruited at all. And so just so interesting how like even when they've done the surface level think feel do work on it, those deep rooted beliefs are the things that keep popping up, and keep popping up where it's holding them back. And so what they actually need to do is to do the work to rewire those beliefs. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
a hard thing to grasp and it's really
Because the think feel do work is more reactive. It's like I notice that I'm having these negative thoughts. And so then now I want to figure them out and figure out what would be a thought that would serve me better. And, and but it's reactive. But again, like they're coming from that 85% whatever again and again are coming from those deep beliefs. What are some of the beliefs that you see in the girls with recruiting that you feel like are kind of like the foundational, we like, I don't know, parents always often use the words of like she just doubts herself. She just doesn't believe in herself. But like, what are the actual root beliefs that you see?
I mean, so far, like the top two I kind of did mention already of like, I literally don't think my skills are good enough. Like, I am not good enough right now to do college gymnastics, which is also hilarious because half of them are like sophomores. And I'm like, well, good, because you have 3 years to be good enough. But like, we'll talk about that another time. But they just truly don't believe that they're good enough. They don't have the skills, they don't have the coaching, they don't have the scores, they don't have the ability. There is something that they are using as evidence to tell them that they are not at that level and they're not capable of doing it. And then the other one is literally just like,
Can we dial in on that one a tiny bit more first?
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I think that is like a results based. Like, I see the skills that I currently have. I compare them to what I see kids doing in college, and I don't have them yet. But like, what do you think the identity belief is that they can't get those skills, that they're not going to be like good enough? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think that a lot of it comes down to, and this kind of jumps ship a tiny bit, but the worth that they're attaching it to. Like
yeah,
that basically it comes down to this like, if I get to do gymnastics at a college level, then it proves that I'm good enough. And so like they're trying to like almost wait. It's like they have to like get that result to believe that they're good enough before they believe it, but then they can't get that result until it's time. So it's like a really complicated
yeah.
like
Well,
waiting.
so then it comes from the identity of I maybe am not good enough in general. Like, I'm just not good
Yes,
enough.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like,
So the identity of I don't know that I'm good enough, because I do feel like that. I do feel like there are some of them that I've worked with that are like I'm not good at. Like, I deep down I don't think I'm good enough, and I'm trying to prove it to myself that I am. But I think most of them are more in the like I don't know that I'm good enough. But I think it comes from that belief of like I'm not allowed to believe or to know that I'm good enough until I have the results to prove it.
Yes, and then they get caught in the trap of, like, they can't get the results to prove it until it's that time, but they have to believe ahead of time in order to get the results.
Which is so funny to me in this. I do kind of think it's like a female socialization, like how we socialize females in our society. Cause like I had a guy friend who decided he wanted to try being a programmer, had done 0 coding in his life, went to a job interview, got the job, like, said, "Yeah, I know how to code." They're like, "Do you know how to code in this language?" He's like, "Absolutely." And they're like, "Awesome." I mean, this was back in the day, so now he would have to have a portfolio and da da da, but this was the beginning of the career, and he's, my age, so late 40s. And he, like, went and taught himself to code that weekend and then got the job, now owns a programming company. Like,
Yeah.
like I look at a lot of the men and I feel like they don't struggle with that the same way. Like they don't feel like they have to have the evidence that backs up the belief that they're good enough. And so they get to just believe they're good enough ahead of time, which then creates the result that they are. Versus I feel like every woman that I know struggles with this of
Well,
like,
I
I
feel
don't get
like
to think I'm good enough until I like have proven it.
to have proven it, and we also kinda tell each other that it's cocky and that it's being self-absorbed if we do. Like, if we
Yeah.
believe that we are good at something, then now you're cocky and self-absorbed and people aren't gonna like you. Like,
Yes.
that's ridiculous. When a guy is cocky, it's like, yeah, they know that they're good at it, right? They have to be a complete jerk in order for you to think it's a problem. But when a girl is cocky, we're looked at differently, and
Yeah.
I've felt that my entire life in this, like, why do we believe that if we are good or amazing at something, like, how does that actually affect the people around you?
Mhm.
I say
Especially in gymnastics. This is not a team sport.
yeah. And so I always tell my girls that I'm coaching, actually, we get into this a lot because they're embarrassed to tell me the things they're good at. Like, I can't
Yeah.
even get them to tell me, like, I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's just you and me. Hike yourself up, girl. Tell me what's up. Tell me what you're good at. Tell me, like, all the things." And
We
it's
always make them
hard.
celebrate at the beginning and when of every call, and when they first start, they're like, "I don't know, I can't think of anything I did well this week."
Yeah, and I'm like, "What?" Like, yes, like, you have to believe that you're good, and it's funny because, like, looking back, I totally did this to myself too. I didn't think
Yeah.
I was gonna make a college team. Like, you had to try out for Division 3 every single year, and I literally cried at every single tryout being like, "I'm not gonna make it," and I competed 3 events for the team every year. Like, I was, like, in lineup on 2 to 3 events, and every year I still was like, "I'm not good enough, like, I'm not gonna make this team."
Which is so funny because I was gonna ask you, I was gonna say, "Allie, I don't think you struggle with this as much as other female friends in my life." Like, I feel like you tend to be able to like, "No, I believe I'm gonna be good at this thing, even though I don't have evidence yet that I am." So that's interesting. I would never have guessed that from you.
I will say I was good at creating positivity, but I still didn't change the belief, the root belief
Yeah.
behind it.
That's good.
Like, I feel like I was really good at being like, no, I've got this. I can figure this out. I'm powerful. Like, I believed in myself in certain ways, but then just truly believing that I was a good, amazing gymnast
Yeah.
was a very different level. And that's what always brought me back to having to do the fake positivity.
Yeah.
And so or it wasn't fake, it was real. I mean, I generally do believe I'm a positive person, but I did have root beliefs of not being good enough that pulled me back. But I just
Yeah.
anyway, seeing it all the time, I always tell the gymnasts that it is not a problem as long as you're not putting others down. Like, I'm better than this person. She sucks and I'm great. Like, and so I just want to challenge you parents, like, in what things, like, can you believe in yourself and create this self-belief and talk about things of like, yes, do you tell your gymnast that you're good at things? Do you admit to them when you're good at things? Oh, I'm really good at drawing. Oh, I'm really good at this. Oh, I'm really good at this. And you're not saying she sucks. You're just saying that you're good at it. And like that doesn't affect anybody except for you. And and just challenging you not to make that mean something else, that somebody else, because if somebody else says they're good, what we do is like, "Oh, does that mean I'm bad?" No, you can both be good. Everybody can be amazing. And like just like learning how to do that. And I digress. I know we went deep into that, but I do think that
Yeah.
that's like one of the root problems is like we believe that it means something about us if we're confident.
Yeah. Well, I think coming back to that of the like, I always talk to them. There's two things. Of one, that looking at role models that have stepped into their like their greatness and then how they work to bring others up around them. Like that's where that true, I don't know, that true greatness resides is when I can be amazing. And so then I want to use that amazingness to make everyone around me their most incredible version of amazing, whatever that is for them.
Yes.
And so I think for you as a parent, like, how can you compliment your gymnast, help like see the greatness in her in a way that isn't negatively comparing somebody else to her? So instead of like, well, but you've got like you're making progress more than this other three girls on your team. So like you're doing good. Like that feels good in the moment, but like it really just kind of comes back to that
Yes.
I only get to be good if others are bad. And a lot of gymnasts I see too, like so many of the gymnasts, at least that we get to work with, are such sweet personalities. Like they don't want anybody else to feel bad, or they don't want to have their friends be jealous of them. And so I've coached kids through mental blocks that turned out the result was other kids were giving them a hard time for winning all the time. And so their brain developed a mental block as a protection of getting rejected by their friends. And so, like, I mean, it wasn't conscious, but, our brains will protect us from what it thinks we're in danger of. And so I do think this idea of, I think that that's really interesting, putting that connection the reason I think so many women and teenage girls struggle with being able to believe in themselves is because we're also taught that to say like I am good at this and I believe in myself is also kind of cocky or proud or negative. And so you can't have it both ways. You can't believe in yourself and like but don't tell anybody or that like cuz your brain again, if your brain thinks well believing in myself is going to make other people not like me, your brain will be like absolutely I'm not doing that then. And so
Mhm.
I do think that those are connected. And so doing that work to help with that, I think is really significant. All right. So this episode has gotten a little long. So we'll jump in on the next episode and we'll talk a little bit more about this idea of helping your gymnast believe in herself and then some of the methods that we use for that. So we will see you guys next week.